Welcome back to the Battery Podcast for our 100th episode. Getting ready for the playoff
Woo!
here. I'm Aidan.
And I'm Casey.
We are very excited, for multiple reasons. Obviously, we got the Cannons going into the playoffs, looking like one of the stronger teams to win a title. Um, but we also just wanted to take a moment to celebrate getting to 100. Doing these uh, pretty much twice a week during the season the last 3 years has been really fun. It's a really good way to just make sure we're staying on top of the team in the league, um, know everything that's going on. Yeah, Casey, I should have looked up exactly at what point you came on to join us, but
It
yeah,
was January 2024. Or no, 2025?
five. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Um,
Um, yeah, I remember I said that the only way that I would ever do an episode on the podcast, because I'm very shy on camera, is if you guys got Coach on. And And like 2 weeks later, you guys texted me and were like, "Hey, so we're gonna have Coach on." And I was like,
that's right.
dang it. And then I don't think I've missed only like a couple.
Yeah, yeah. I did. Now that since you knew when it was, I looked up. It was episode 43 with Brian Holman.
Wow.
So more than half of them.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I've loved doing it, honestly. It's been like, I don't want this to sound wrong, but it's been far more fun than I thought. Just because, like I said, I'm very shy on camera and I absolutely hate being on camera. But I mean, a lot of people don't necessarily watch this and more so listen to it, which helps me
Yeah.
remember. But it's been really awesome to be able to learn and unique doing the podcast with you guys, learning from you guys, and at the same time, like watching the games and learning more about the sport of lacrosse while also covering it. It's unique for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but it's been so much fun, and
Yeah, it
I
is. I think
am so happy to be here.
yeah. It's been really great just like make sure that we're staying like informed with everything
Mhm.
that's going on. And as well, like, we've both made so many other friends who are just as big fans as we are and like cover
Yeah.
different teams or cover the whole league just differently. And, if there's some bit of information that we manage to miss, like they'll text us and let us know about it. Thinking specifically of Jackson Van Flake, who is like one of the most plugged in
Hmm.
people to the PLL that I've ever seen. I think he has push notifications for like every team and league related account on all social media platforms. So yeah, if they make any kind of announcement, he's definitely going to be the first one to know. And if it involves Boston, he definitely shoots one of us a text so we can get our opinion on it.
Hmm.
Um, so an idea that I'd had for this was to try to list the 100 greatest cannons. Um, that would make a terrible podcast, is just listing out 100 names. And it also is quite a lot of history to go back through. So I think
Hmm.
what we're going to do, what we decided to do, is we're each going to list our top 10. And we did get them from Jack as well. Um, and then, let us know if you agree, disagree, who would go on your top 10. We went a couple different approaches for this. So why don't I just start with mine, which is pretty much exclusively back to the MLL days. There's some guys who overlapped. And I guess this is not a hard and fast order, but I think I did kind of write it or organize it with this in mind. So I'll go 10 to 1. Kyle Sweeney, Mikey Powell, Bill Day, Jordan Burke, Chris Eck, Brody Merrill, Matt Poskay, Mitch Belisle, number two, Ryan Boyle, and then, of course, number one, Paul Rabel. Um, So, Brody and Paul obviously overlapped with the MLL era. Boyle now a commentator. But it was just, I mean, Mikey Powell, I know he didn't play for the Cannons for that long. He didn't play in MLL that long, but just too much skill. Bill Day, led the Cannons to a championship as a coach and then was their first ever goalie in their first ever game. Chris Sack, the faceoff guy for that championship, had a great run in the middle, and like the late 20 aughts to 20 teens. Brady Merrill, don't have to say anything. Um, Matt Posque, 2010 MVP, overcame cancer to then, win a championship with the Cannons, is still very high up on their all-time franchise points leader. Mitch Belisle, most games ever played for the Cannons, defensive stalwart for like more than a decade. And yeah, Boyle and Rabel. Don't have to say much more for them. They're like 1-4, 1-3 or something all time in points. Let me actually find out where Ryan Boyle is. Well, Casey, you want to give yours next while I'm looking at Boyle?
Sure. um, Now, going through and creating my list, I just want to lead with this. I don't think we've ever really talked about this on the podcast before, but I didn't start watching the PLL until I want to say 2021. Um, and I did not watch any of the MLL, sadly. So my list will look a little different than yours and Jack's for sure. Um, so, and I'm not going to have as much explanation either, but that's okay. This is great for people who maybe are newer fans because you
Yeah,
will
absolutely.
know almost every name on this list. Okay, so leading off, and I'm not going to do this, in any specific order, but Marcus Holman,
Yeah.
he's he's a goat. Okay,
Be the all-time leading
uh,
goal scorer.
yes, he will. Um, Colin Kirst, Kirsty, I've said before, he's like my favorite. Um, Golden Retriever energy, goalie. So he's also like he's kind of crazy too. Love that. Um, can't wait to see him back out there again. Uh, McMeekin. I don't care if McMeekin has only been with us for not even a full season. Like that kid is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so pumped to have him. I also honestly like I really love the face-off position. Maybe that's because I'm gonna admit this finally on camera that my first favorite player in the PLL was Trevor Baptiste. Um, Sadly, I have his jersey that hangs in my closet collecting dust. I'm gonna have to find like a little kid to give that to at some point.
His atmosphere
Um,
that you're saying.
yes, because
Yeah.
unfortunately, I missed his time as a Cannons player.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to go back to that, I mean, then he would just always be my number one
Yeah.
Cannons player. But I missed that reign. I also don't think it was very long, right? It was
Just one
maybe,
year. Yeah, he was
yeah,
drafted in 2018 and then he went to the PLL the following year.
yeah. Never forget where you started though, okay?
Yep.
Um, but then we've got Drenner. I love Drenner. Always been a really big fan of his. Love his style of play. I mean, he's your favorite player's favorite player, right?
Yep.
I absolutely cannot wait to see him back on the field. He was in Boston just a few weeks ago for the homecoming. I was so happy to see him on the sidelines up in Boston supporting the team. Then we've got Paul Rabel. Paul Rabel is, well, Paul Rabel, I mean, I really feel like that needs no explanation at all. But he's actually one of the reasons why back in 2020, I even started getting interested in lacrosse again since I was like in high school. Story for another time. Because I'm a short, how do you say it? I'm a short story long kind of person, not a long story short person ever. Then we've got
Podcasting
trainer,
is the right format for you then.
long form, yeah, for sure. um, Trainer, governor, also kind of crazy.
Yep.
But I just think like my all-time favorite moment in for PLL was for me when we were at Champ Series. I've talked about it before. Um, when there was the game that we thought we were not going to win, and then with like 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds left. I think there was like a few seconds left. trainer gets a goal. We go into overtime. We end up winning. It was just the like my heart, I don't think has ever like my adrenaline has never pumped so much in a sporting event ever. And that just, yeah, so I love him for that. Keelty, listen, I've also said this, I'm a big personality person. Okay. So Keelty is one of the nicest people off the field, and he's so smart, just he's so intelligent and so kind, so like happy. And then you see him on the field and he's the one that's literally like screaming like a madman at
Yeah.
the crowd after we win. And I'm like, you look like such a psycho right now. I love it.
Yeah.
um Curtsy, Curtsy, he is on my list, but that's because he's a fire wolf. um I used to love the Albany Firewolves when they were in Albany. I learned a lot about box lacrosse through them. He's on that team. He's a great box player. Would love to be able to see him play more. I just, don't really know how that could work with our team and our lineup,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Just to clarify, that's Ty Kurtz. You're not mispronouncing one of the Kurtz
Oh,
brothers
so
last.
sorry.
Yeah, no,
Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Ty Kurtz. Yeah.
Yes, Ty Kurtz. And then I put Brody Merrill on there, although I didn't really get to see him play. I have seen him. Well, I saw him play. Excuse me, for the Seals, San Diego Seals in the NLL. But when he came back for like that season or two to play, because he's told his brother he's not done yet.
Mhm.
But I've seen him coach at Champ Series, and I just think he's a phenomenal coach. I wish that we could. Honestly, I think like whenever Brian Holman retires, I think I told Jack and you this. I want him to be like the next Cannons coach. But um, yeah, I
Yeah,
really,
the
really
fact that he's
like.
Canadian is a makes that a lot tougher sell for him. But I think
Well,
we all agree with that. Like as long as much coaching as Brody Merrill wants to do for the Cannons, we want him to do that. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think we can say he had a pretty big factor in those two Champ Series wins for the Cannons.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
think one I didn't mention that is on my list. So sorry, but like I said, no specific order. Was Matt Campbell.
yeah.
Um, I mean, again, do I need to really explain that?
No, midfielder of the year. Come
Yeah.
back at the perfect time. Um, I'll quickly go
Yes.
through Jack's list. It's basically seven of the 10 players are the same as mine. So he went a pretty similar route. And he also said no particular order. But I'll start at the top just from what he listed. Paul Rabel, again, don't need to say anything. Will Manny, don't need to say anything. If you know Jack, you know he's a Will Manny
Right.
fan. Ryan Boyle, Brody Merrill, Mitch Belisle, Jordan Burke, Zach Goodrich. That's the first difference he had with me. Bill Day, Kevin Buchanan, who I definitely considered putting on mine as well. I mean, he was another one of those guys that I just like when you think of the cannons, you think of Rabel, you think of Buchanan, you think of Jordan Burke, and then Chris Eck rounding out his list. Let us know, I guess your top tens or, I definitely, with a team that's been around for as long as the Cannons have, you can't possibly really do
Yeah.
everything justice in this. And that's the nature of it. And I guess if you're one of those players who feels disrespected or, you're a fan of one of those players and feel that we overlooked someone, please let us know. Cause we definitely,
Yes.
I have not watched every Cannons game going back to 2001. I will fully admit to that. Uh,
That's surprising.
they're not all available. Honestly, if they were, I probably would.
Okay. Yeah, definitely write in some favorite moments too.
Yeah,
And we'll talk about it on our next episode after we win the quarterfinals this weekend. Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, let's switch to that topic now. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're not just living in the past. The Cannons are
Mm-mm.
playing this Saturday as well. Tomorrow, when you're listening to this on Friday, taking on the Whipsnakes, who they had one of, if not the best games of the season for any team against during their homecoming. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, two teams going in on pretty different trajectories. The Whips lose four straight because they lose the following week against Philly as well. Again, pretty close game. I think 11-9 was the final. Um, I don't think any collapse or heartbreak is going to be as bad as what they did in Boston. Um, and then you have on the other side the Cannons who have won. all but one out of their last 7 games, and that one was like that really weird one against the Chaos, who just seemed to have the Cannons number. Fortunately,
Hmm.
we know the Cannons can't possibly play the Chaos this year, so in the playoffs, so that's a factor, or some it's something in the Cannons' favor, I guess. Um, yeah, what are your like the first things that you're thinking of about this matchup, Casey? I know it's the second to last opponent the Cannons saw, so fairly recent in both teams' minds.
I think it's funny that as much as you and I and Jack have, as much as we'll say, like we roll our eyes really at the Whipsnakes, here we are. It's gonna feel really, really good to beat them. Now I think that I think it could potentially be a bloodbath of sorts. I mean, when we have played them, like the last time at home, like what a game.
Yeah.
Um, and then before that, they beat the pants off us a little bit.
Yeah.
So I I think like there's just a lot on the line for both teams, and both teams really want to win. And I think with the way that we've been playing, we have a very high chance of winning. But I think the Whip Snakes are one of those teams that like you can't really ever, as much as I hate it, you can't really count them out
Yeah.
because they could be like on a losing streak and then they could show up ready to freaking go to war. Um,
Especially Stack,
and
right? Like he's had so much success.
yeah, yeah. So, and I was reading I believe that they just signed a new face-off guy,
Yes, he played the
right?
finale against Philadelphia and he was over 50%. I think I saw it was 56.5 against Stathicus. Um Rainbow, by the way, eighth all time in points. I never followed up on that thread, but I did still have the tab open. Um yeah, so 56.5%. And then I read about him as well, said he's very much like a scrapper, muck it up type of guy, that he didn't have the quickest hand, so he relied on just kind of making everything a battle, which I think is a good way to counter McMeekin, right? Because
Hmm.
all of the success that McMeekin's had has been when he can just pinch and pop, run forward, and then either shoot or get it to Holman or Mackesy.
Yeah,
So, um, obviously the Whips would love to have Joe Nardella back. That's not happening this year, so we'll see. Like one game is it's impossible to really accurately judge like
right.
gonna hold up because Stathicus too has been a little bit up and down. Let's see, let's just check face off.
Stathicus or
Stathicus
C?
for the water dogs I meant. Like it's hard to
Oh, okay.
gauge it based off one opponent. uh,
Gotcha. Yeah.
yeah, Stathicus was exactly 50 and then Zach Courier went over 2, so that's how Cap got to that 56.5. um
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously you still got to think the advantage goes to Boston. And I think in Noelle's article that she put out about McMeekin a couple weeks ago, that
Hmm.
it makes it easier for like Boston's wing play gets better because they kind of know how McMeekin plays and they know like
Hmm.
where to be, where like to anticipate where the ball's going to be. And then to either get to that ball first or to at least block the other guy out and let the other wing get to it or let McMeekin run to it. Um, so yeah, no, I know McMeekin is I'm sure doing quite a lot of scouting on what he's done during his college time. Where did he go to college?
Princeton.
Oh no, Cap, I meant, sorry.
Oh,
I am pulling up his profile. He went to
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, that's right.
Okay.
So obviously not a powerhouse. Um they also have his age as 0. If that's true, I would definitely take McMeekin in that battle.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
I assume they mean years pro, but and from Wisconsin, which is also, I He might be the first pro that I've seen from there.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. But I mean, Jacksonville's been a scrappy team, so it makes sense that they would like a guy like that, with that kind of play style. Um, but I mean, even so, like even if he's able to do some of that, I still think advantage Boston on the wing, right? Like Ramsey and Connor Kirst and Ethan
Hmm.
Rawl have been fantastic, getting those ground balls. Where like Rawl, I think is first among not well, Courier's first among non-faceoff guys. Um, I think Rawl is first among poles in ground balls. And he's pretty high up there and caused turnovers as well. And I imagine some of those came off of faceoffs that the other team won, and then he immediately checked the ball out. Um, Yeah, I mean it's tough. I still give the advantage to McMeekin, but you really can't know how much, right? Like it's
Yeah.
is it going to be like a 70-30? Probably not. Is it going to be a 60-40? I still think he's going to have that like a run where he wins. I know that was one of the PLO predictor questions is he going to have a run of like five in a row again? Um, I feel pretty confident about that. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's gonna be tough. Um, just with an unknown quantity, at least for us as viewers. I would imagine. McMeekin's watched all the the Jacksonville film he can now, and certainly he's
Hmm.
watched that Whipsnakes game against the Water Dogs from a couple weeks ago. Um, Something else I wanted to talk about on the defensive end for the Cannons is, those two games were very, very different, right? Boston losing by 7 and kind of falling apart in the first one versus that huge gritty comeback, but just the way that the Whips offense worked, um, they were just passing left and right. Like they had 17 goals. I think they were pretty much all assisted. And Boston's defense was just spinning around, kind of directionless. Um, and then the second game at homecoming, Boston doesn't slide at all. They're like, you got to beat us one on one. And Aiden Carroll and Adam Padra did. I think they each had 5 points. Padra was all goals, which I'm very confident is a career high for him. And I think it was 4-1 or 3-1 for Aiden Carroll. So, and that was almost enough to win the game, right? Like it takes McMeekin winning
Hmm.
two faceoffs in the last minute of the game, and then to get some pretty good breaks on that offensive end as well. So, Boston won the game. That was a better strategy overall. They didn't lose by 7, even if they had wound up losing by 2. That's still an improvement, but um, it's like you got to find a way to. I guess you don't want to slide off of Malone, Pennell, and Spallina because they're gonna, that's how the problems start. But if
Hmm.
if Carroll and Patra, and certainly if you add a third guy to that, you hope Aiden Carroll's probably getting the pole most of the time. But if they got another, if midfielders for them are regularly beating the short stick matchups, then that definitely could cause some problems for Boston. And that's definitely what, aside from the unknown of Cap, this is kind of the known quantity that scares me the most. So I'm very curious how they're going to plan to counter that, whether it's just like tendencies for those players or what it's going to be.
Hmm. I definitely think that we have had so much time to really study the film.
Yeah,
Um, I'm sure that Brian has been obsessing over it to a point. Um, but also I think he probably hasn't overdone it because he just understands that I mean, at the end of the day, like you can prepare all that you want and then you go out there and like, hey, you aren't actually in the other guy's heads, right?
yeah,
But I think we've had a lot of time to study, to prepare. I'm sure that the guys have been on multiple Zoom calls. Um, some of them, I'm sure, have been able to spend some time together too in person to prepare. But same thing with Maryland, they've been
yeah.
doing the same thing, I'm sure. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think that if we're looking at goalies, even though rosters are now, I'm not gonna be surprised if Higginbottom
Botham, yeah,
is is starting.
Yeah, he's gotta.
in place of Kirsty. Uh, I was, something interesting about him that I wanted to bring up is he has played for like 5 teams.
Yeah,
But when I say play, I mean like he's been on 5 teams, but he really has not played for any of them before this season when he got put in over Colin Kirst. And I don't know offhand how old he is. I forget, but that's just a very interesting journey. I think he also went undrafted too. So in the last couple of years, he's been just bounced around from team to team,
hmm
cut, gone to training camps, cut, and it's just like it's really awesome to see that someone can go undrafted but still just continue day in and day out to work on their craft and just always stay ready. I love the saying, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
yeah,
And that's clearly the mentality that he has. And he has talked about that before in interviews. Um, but it obviously shows. And I just love that. It's kind of like no one else wanted to like give him a spot
yeah,
but Holman did, and it's really paying off for us. So I just wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out there because I think that that's awesome. We love a little bit of an underdog story.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, undrafted, like you said, which is not that unusual given how short the PLL draft is. And then it's usually only one or two teams in any given year that are looking for a goalie or a faceoff guy, right? Like McMeekin clearly deserves to be drafted. He's absolutely been one of the 32 best rookies
Yes.
that the PLL has had this year. But, like no one needed a faceoff guy except for Boston. And I think going into this year, I don't remember exactly the situation for everyone in 2024, but if teams don't feel like they need a goalie, or Boston only needed a goalie once Gittleman retired. Um, and there was, remember Matthew Nunes, the former Virginia
Hmm.
goalie, got an invite to training camp as well. Um,
Yeah, but he couldn't go to Philly.
right. Yeah, which I mean that's that other type of break you need to really make it
Yeah.
in pro sports. So it's yeah, I think it was Ryan Boyle on the Freeze It Right Here show that they've been doing with him and Brian Doherty, um, talking about the goalie situation for the Cannons and then a couple other teams, the Outlaws and Water Dogs.
Hmm.
And it's like, it's like, oh, do you go with his backup who's only had 3 games? And it's like, we're worried about that, I guess, because Higginbotham isn't as much of a proven commodity, whereas like it was Austin Kaut who's the backup, or it's like Dylan Ward and DeLuca going back and forth over the last couple of years in Philly. It's like we would feel much better about that because we kind of know who those guys are and what those guys
Hmm.
are capable of. And I think Entenmann or not Entenmann, Higginbotham started I think backing up the Atlas and Champ Series where it's like, hey, you're not going to kick Liam Intamin out of the cage, especially in such a short tournament like that.
Hmm.
And then, Austin Kaut, he was on the Chaos for the second Champ Series, and it's like, well, you're not, you know, Austin Kaut went on one of the best runs of all time that we've seen
Hmm.
a goalie do in that tournament. So,
Yeah.
he hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but also like, I mean, there's a reason he keeps sticking around, right? That if There's only 16 goalies. I think we've seen some guys bounce around a little bit. Matt Note, Will Mark, Tim Troutner, as like a third goalie that a team will sign if someone gets hurt or if a guy can't make it to a particular weekend. Um, yeah, like I mean, maybe it's all a house of cards and it,
Mm.
it'll crumble the playoffs. But everything we've seen so far, right? Like it's not say I was trying to pull up if he had actually played in the Champ Series. I don't believe he did, or at least I didn't see stats that he
I
did.
don't I don't remember him playing in Champ Series.
Yeah, because I think with how they they've changed the format where the bottom team in the pool play doesn't qualify, it really incentivizes playing
Hmm.
your best goalie all the time. Like the first the first year the Cannons were in it. Before that was a thing. I know they basically switched Curse and get them in each half. Um, yeah, because you know protecting your starter from injury is like the priority there. Um, sorry, I'm scrolling back. Oh no, that was not even the champ series that he was playing in. Yeah, let's see. Other concerns. I mean, I guess Emmett Carroll, it would be a shock if he was not the starter for for the Whips. He's been very good this season. I still just
Hmm.
I don't know, like I don't trust him as much. I don't like put him in that same category um of like the starting goalies as I would. Although honestly, like I mean some goalies have had some great years, but it feels like a lot of the names that we kind of trust the most have not. Like, I feel like it's been a bit of a down year for goalie, right? Like Entenmann has just been hung out to dry all year. McElroy, not McElroy, McNaney has been hurt, and I think that's led to a drop off in performance from him. Um, I think Dylan Ward's probably been the best, but still kind of given a lot. Like he's been kind of streaky at times, and he got kind of pulled in Boston for some reason. Kirst obviously has been way down. I think Blaze Reardon has been still very, very good, um, but the Chaos didn't make the playoffs. Or the one guy that you're like, oh yeah, he's been really, really good this year and deserves to get a lot of credit is um, Brett Dobson. And
Yeah.
for those who are audio only, Casey's making a face, but
Listen, yeah, because he made my you know what list. If we you know how we do the mass hole of the week,
yeah,
if if we were doing that for people who like truly fit the mass hole definition, he would be
yeah,
on the mass hole list. Casey's mass hole list has him at number one right now.
yes, and not
Um,
not in a good way.
no, no. I guess I'm from New York, so the perception of a mass hole is maybe a bit different than the way that we like to use it. But yeah, he is good at his role.
Yes, he is. That's a very
He is
diplomatic way
a
of saying that.
I try. He is an exceptional goalie
Yeah.
for
Um,
sure.
sorry, I guess to return to the point of Emmett
Yeah.
Carroll is, yeah, I don't know. I just don't. And I guess maybe it just goes back to that last moment, like the winning goal, the losing goal from the Whipsnakes perspective of Boston's homecoming, where it's just like he just hasn't just like some sharpness that just isn't there. I mean, he's got good numbers,
Hmm.
56.7% on the season, double-digit saves in every game. Um,
He has, honestly, like looking at his stats right now from the season, he has one, two, three games above 70%.
yeah,
And then he does have also three games under 50%. And then the rest of them are all over 50,
yeah.
looks
So like
like.
that's good. And like I said, the double digit, he made 18 saves against the Atlas.
Hmm.
That was that game in Rhode Island we saw where the Atlas just like lost. I mean, one of the many games.
Oh, yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, and then the he has another one where he was over 70 against the Archers like before they figured things out. So 5 goals allowed, 13 saves. Um, and the other one was the Redwoods, that 20-7 game. So I mean, pretty outlier kind of production wise all around. Um,
Yeah, anywhere from like 40% to 75%. That is quite a range.
yeah, so it looks like his worst was that crazy comeback the Atlas had during their homecoming where they were
Yeah,
down like 12-2 and then managed to come back and win.
yeah.
Uh,
It was like 44%, but
yeah. Um, so I don't
I
I,
don't know. Yeah.
and I think I still give the advantage to no, I don't I won't say I just give the advantage to Boston on offense, but I think we saw Boston's offense do some really good things, and I think especially with how young the Whips defensive midfield is, Christian Mazer um, has come back or is coming back. You played the last week of the year after being I don't even see him listed on the website, but I promise you he played against the Water Dogs.
Mhm.
And I would assume he's gonna be back for the quarterfinal as well. I feel like if you weren't sure about that, you wouldn't play him just, to give another guy the experience, the reps. Because they've had oh no, there he is on the website. They've had all rookies for most of the year. I know Jake Bernhardt played a couple games right at the beginning before, well,
Mhm.
before all these rookies were done, but like Island's been pretty good. Joe Jungerka's like also undrafted has been like a pretty good surprise, but I don't know, like I trust Jack Regneri to win a matchup against them. I trust Mikey Weissar, who's like quietly been getting better like every week as the season's gone along.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think he's ruled as questionable right now.
Weissar?
Yeah,
Oh dear.
because of his foot.
Okay.
Something with his foot. I'm not sure exactly what, but I think that he's listed as questionable.
Yes, he is. You are right. Um,
I'm
that
hoping that that's like just um an outdated piece of information on there, but
yeah,
it
let's
does
hope.
say that.
And he's the only one listed on the injury report, which
Yeah.
I mean maybe that's a good time to bring up who Boston will be getting back for this game is reigning midfielder of
Hmm.
the year, Matt Campbell. Um, it does mean, we've gone back and forth about this, you and Jack and I, that Mick Kelly's got to sit out. That was in an
Yeah.
article that came out on the PLO website today. I mean,
Which is awesome
yeah, it's well,
that Campbell gets to go in, but
yes, not that Kelly has to go out. Yeah,
no,
like it's
no, no, that's
hard.
not.
It's hard to make any changes to the lineup with how well Boston's played over the last 7 games.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Campbell at his best is just too good. And if there was any chance that he wasn't healthy and not good to go back, I feel like they wouldn't bring him back because they clearly don't necessarily need him to play well and
Right.
win. Um, and Mick Kelly plays the most similar role in the offense to him. Um, Kelly a righty versus Campbell a lefty. Obviously, both can shoot with both hands, but um, like the downhill dodger, initiator, kind of classic big downhill midfielder type
Hmm.
versus, if you take Weissar out, he plays a little bit of a different role. And then obviously, if you take Graydon Hogg, the other lefty out, as being really the off-ball guy. Um, I just feel like with how unique his skill set is and how great he is at giving space to everyone else in the offense, like you can't do that. So, um, yeah, we get midfielder of the year back. You got to assume he's going to be getting the long pole. So that
Right.
I feel like maybe it kind of defines everyone's role in the offense a little bit more. Maybe that makes things easier for the Whips defense, but I think that still, I mean, you're just bringing in one of the best midfielders in the world, someone who I feel like we're probably going to see on the Olympics roster in a couple of years. Um, and if Hogg does his job right and gets one of those rookie D mids on him, then we'll just put that one on the score sheet right away.
Hmm.
Um, I think the only other thing that I wanted to talk about with this game is, something that it's almost certainly not going to happen, but the Marcus Holman goal watch, I don't know if someone's been following him as closely as they were following Rob Pennell for the points record. I feel like maybe that one's a little bit cooler, I guess, just because it's goals and assists. But we've been trying to track it all season long. Holman needs 6 to tie, 7 to have sole possession. Probably not going to happen in this game. If it does, it'd be fantastic. Boston would
Yeah.
absolutely like guarantee Boston wins if Marcus Holman has 7 goals. Um, but that's something that would be really cool. I mean, it's going to be cool whenever it happens. Um,
Hmm.
I think if the Cannons make the championship game, I feel pretty confident it will happen at some point because he's like 2 point something goals per game um,
Yeah.
this season. I just hope it doesn't. I don't think it'll distract from anything. I think like everyone ran out in the field when Pinnell got the points record. Like if Holman scores um in like the third quarter of a close championship game, I
Hmm.
feel like there's going to be a lot of celebration in the moment. And there probably won't be a lot of celebration at all if the Cannons don't win. Um, so it's one of those like maybe similar to Pinnell's, like I hope you kind of get it over with, or
Hmm.
um, like you get it maybe early on. Obviously if he has like a 4 goal, if he has a 6 goal game against the Whips, that would be ideal, and then he scores kind of early on in the semis. And
Hmm.
put that behind us. Um, God, it would suck if he got 5 goals throughout the playoffs, like however far the Cannons go, and then he sets it in week 1 of next year. That'd be a long time to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd take it. Like he'll score no goals. It means the Cannons win the championship. As would we all. But
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I remember when we first started this season and it just seemed like no way could he get that close to it, right? It wouldn't happen this season, but hopefully, like before he retires. But now here we are and he's only a few goals away.
yeah, it was. I think he started 37 away, but that doesn't seem right. I don't think he has. I think only Kirst has more than 30 goals. Um, Oops, clicked the wrong thing. PL changed the way that stats for the season show up. That's awesome. Uh, why would you not? All right, we're just gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Sometimes it's challenging to find.
Yeah. All right. Holman has 28 goals. All right. So he
Okay.
started. That means he started 30. Okay. Yeah. So I was right. He needs 36, 34 to tie, or going into the season, he needed 34, 35 to break it. So yeah, that would be a tall task for the regular season, even with 2 more games.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, 7 goals in 3 games is very achievable.
Yeah.
And still, I
Stay
mean, just
tuned.
also wanted to say third in the league in goals at 35 years old.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, 2 guys ahead of him. CJ Kirst, obviously. Michael Sowers. Well, I guess technically he's tied with Aiden Carroll, so he's tied for third. Um, yeah, it is.
Hell of an achievement.
Yeah, I think I knew when he signed with the Cannons to play for his dad that he was obviously a great goal scorer and a good player.
Hmm.
But just like the leadership that he has brought, I think I'm particularly noticing it this year with how the Cannons like turned around mid-season, just
Yeah.
made a huge difference. And just what he's able to bring to the culture and the locker room of the Cannons,
Hmm.
aside from the production on the field, has been just amazing. Um, and he's still bringing so much production on the field. But like, the
Yeah.
2-pointer against the Atlas and then the 2-pointer to win it against the Whips, like just such high IQ, like win the whistle moments that
Hmm.
it makes a difference, especially in professional sports where like the winning and losing margins are so thin. Um, all right. It's a dangerous can of worms, but let's briefly just mention that there's another game
Oh,
happening that weekend. The Redwoods and the
yes.
Outlaws, who really hard to predict because the first game was week 2 in Rhode Island, where the Outlaws won 10-9, but like not really each team's full lineup. And then they played in the regular season finale as well, but the entire starting defense for the Outlaws was out, as were 2 of their 4 Tuaraton winners at a attack slash midfielder, I guess. Pretty flexible where those guys play. Um,
Hmm.
the Redwoods won that one pretty handily. Yeah, I don't know, Casey. Maybe we'll just do like a score prediction or like a vibe prediction or something. I don't know. What how do you
I am going to just say this. I think that the whole like four to Wharton thing, I think it's kind of lost its steam.
Yeah. I I mean they I'd have to look at how many games they've all 4 played together, but
Yeah.
it's not been the majority of the season, and I don't think certainly all 4 of them have not been healthy at the same time. because
Right.
Kavanaugh missed the beginning of the year. O'Neal was dealing with an injury even though he was playing. Bernhardt has been in and out with hamstrings, and then and they both missed. Kavanaugh and Bernhardt, that is, missed the last couple of
Hmm.
weeks too. Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because I have no idea on it, to be honest. I have no idea where their injured list is at.
mm,
I have no idea who's going to be available and back ready to play um, for this. I can't wait for the rosters to be released. Um, so I will, I mean, I love the Rough Riders, but I want to see California win.
me too. Yeah, they're
I will,
the only team that hasn't won anything basically in the PL era. The Outlaws. I mean, they won the Champ Series as the Chrome. Um,
mm,
they had the championship appearance last year, and then obviously going back to their MLL history, they've got three titles.
mhm.
Um, yeah, the only team, the Chaos, the Water Dogs, the Archers, the Whipsnakes have all won like regular season championships. The Cannons have won a Champ Series. Um, Yeah, I mean, I guess technically the Outlaws haven't either, as the Outlaws, but again, they got the Chrome and then they've got the MLO history. So, um,
Hmm.
yeah, would love to see, especially after how dominant the Atlas were or the Outlaws were last year, and it just like
Yeah.
the Redwoods just looked overmatched. This team looks like Anthony Kelly did a great job of turning them around. They look a lot of fun um,
Hmm.
to play for. I think players have found their roles, found their skill sets that they're suited for to help that team out. And
Hmm.
um, I mean, yeah, like Colin Brown has been a great find. Dante Bowen, they took forever for him to get on the roster, but he looked so good as a D mid in his first game against the Outlaws
Hmm.
last, I guess, 2 weeks ago now. Um, yeah, even with I feel like Kavanaugh is not having quite the explosive year, Chris Kavanaugh that is that he had last year. Um,
Right.
but he's still been great. Garnsey has turned back the clock. Like Malloy exploded for 7 goals. Dylan Ward again found a little bit of a renaissance. Let's see how he's. I know I said earlier that he's been like up and down, but I just want to at 53.6% on the year, which is wow. Actually, he was below. He was 44.1 last year with the Water Dogs. That was not a great outing for him. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so he was 70%, 60%, 60% the first 3 games, and then he had a 40, a 38, a 42 in July. And then rebounded 56.5, 54.5, 63.6 against the Outlaws. Um, but that was just in one half. Um, yeah,
Oh,
so I
wow.
think we'll give our half prediction. Redwoods win against the Outlaws. I think we both think that. Um,
Hmm. What do you think is going to be the score?
I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of back and forth, but I also just like
Hmm.
I just can't trust the Outlaws to all be healthy. Where like even if they're all playing, even like
Right.
I did check the Outlaws report, and it's Manley and Bernhardt listed. I feel like if you're resting all five of those guys 2 weeks ago, no chance
Hmm.
they're all 100%. Um,
Right.
and I'm still not sure Brendan O'Neal's 100%. Um, so I'm gonna say like I'll say 12-11 Redwoods.
Oh, that's so funny.
Is that
I was
right?
going to say 13-11.
Well,
I
feel pretty
think
confident
either,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think either way, I think there's going to be a 1 to 2 goal, max 3 goal difference. I think that they are really going to fight like they always do.
Yep.
Um, Talking about the Outlaws, but I think the Redwoods are going to get it. I think they're going to take it. At least I hope they do. So, yeah, I think they're going to win. Um,
And then let's go back to what we're
mhm.
here for. Cannons and whips.
Yes. Yes.
I know we're both taking the cannons in this one.
Hell yes. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be like a 15-12 situation, or maybe
Yeah,
like a, yeah, maybe like 15-12, 17-15, something like that.
I like that. I like 15-12 a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
still I think the Cannons are gonna get the majority of possession, but I think 17 would I would love to hang 17 on the whips, oh my goodness. But um I'll go what was it? I guess it was 14-12 when the Cannons beat them at homecoming. I'll go 13-12.
Okay.
I think it'll be close
13-12 for,
for Boston.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it'll go to overtime, but it'll just be a one pointer that
I hope it doesn't.
Yeah, listen, I would love for the Cannons to win like 16-3, but
Right.
holding the whips to three seems a taller
Yeah,
task than
probably
anything
not.
else you mentioned so far. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So there you have it. Get the just make sure I get it exactly right. These
What
are
time
both
can they watch?
yes, they are both in Minneapolis, which I would love to go to. It seems like such a cool venue. So the first game will
I
be
thought
6
that
o'clock.
earlier too.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was looking at the schedule and I was like, huh, never been in Minneapolis. I wonder how much flights are.
Too much?
I didn't actually look because it was just a
Okay.
very busy day at work. But listen, I'm always down. So
Yeah.
if you're with it, I'm with it. We can just make a quick little trip.
Yeah. So that'll be the Outlaws and Redwoods at 6, and then the Cannons and Whipsnakes at 8:30,
Hmm.
probably adjusting a few minutes depending on how late that first game goes.
Yeah.
And those are both ESPN Plus. Um,
Hmm.
we will be back to recap that and let's just knock on wood, preview the Cannons matchup with the Philadelphia Water Dogs, um, which will be a fascinating third time after how the first two went. Let's not look ahead of ourselves though. Got to beat the
Yeah.
Whipsnakes first.
One
Um,
game at a time.
yep. So we'll be back to recap that on pretty sure we can say on Monday, perhaps
Hmm.
Tuesday. But until then, go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Boom.
Boom.